Today I'm making very important, very useful video that I bet you'd like, because I know that it's a constant question. How to get inspiration, how to find ideas, and as an artist I constantly get those questions. All the time for as long as I can remember. And I always thought that how did you find your inspiration? It is the weirdest question possible until I understood step by step how I do it and understand that this is a tutorial worth sharing because it might help you if you have the same problem. Obviously, I wrote down what I want to say. I'm going to tell you how I do it and you can just adapt the system for yourself. There is a list of things that I see important in life, things that triggers me, and that is a step one of my tutorial. You need to understand what those topics are for you, what things trigger you in life, what you find unfair, or what makes your heart flutter. When you understand those triggers, those important topics for you, the hardest thing almost done. For example, for me, those topics are like sexual abuse, feminism, inequality, addiction, substance abuse. Those are triggers that take my attention constantly. I think about them all the time. When I hear something that is at least somehow connected to those subjects, I become a very active listener. I care about those things. So I can tell a lot about those things as well. I can share my opinion. I can create art on this base. These are my worry bricks. I will call it like that. Step two, after you understood what those things are for you, what subjects you care about. Step two, sit down and think about all those things from step one, but not with words, think with pictures. Think about what visual image you can make out of them, so that image would be easily accessible for people. Because those subjects are very heavy, and most of things we can learn from them, that's usually some kind of books or some kind of science paper. It's not very easily easily accessible content for people, especially for those who are not already interested in it. And I see goal of the artist is to make this bridge between subjects that are important for them and people. So we widen the audience of people who might be interested in such things through visual part. This is the most important part. Okay, this is the second most important part. You should find in what visual form, what images you can put those subjects to make them more understandable for wider audience. I already said it. So in such case, we create art to make more people aware of certain topics that you're worried about. So we have to trick them into spending more time with not so pleasant thoughts. As well, since in my case it's all pretty heavy subjects, it drains you to think about them, and when you're constantly in this info space where you always get this information, it can get very tiring. And I understand that people are not willing to do the same job as I do in such a situation, that they are not willing to always get this negative information. And I understand them very well. So we have to trick them into spending more time thinking about those things. I do this in my case by using bright, vivid, happy colors. I make the form more appealing, so people will look from afar and they will think, oh, it's such a girly pinkish art, it must be so sweet and kind. I would definitely just enjoy looking at it. And that's when trap is closed. That's when the real fun begins, because now when we first capture the attention with those bright, vivid colors, with some accessories like bows, lacy lingerie, funny faces with exaggerated emotions. In all my art, the emotions are very exaggerated. And at first glance, people will think, oh, it's nothing. I can just, put this painting in my bedroom and I will look at it every day. The funny thing, I once gifted my friend. few of my pictures, and then later this person told me that that person's mom bought them and put them in her bedroom, and pieces they were quite provocative and definitely not the kind of pieces you want to wake up looking at. Those were little drawings, not paintings, but I can understand her, because if you look from afar, just think cute drawings. It's not as easy to delve into this dark side of them. So people who think there is no real meaning underneath them, but with every minute they spend looking at my art, they will notice those details, they will notice cuts, bruises, they will notice some heavy meaning about them, some sad things, some disturbing things, but they are already invested in it emotionally. They in the time wise, they're already there, and it's too late to leave. People aren't always in the mood for gloomy, heavy art, therefore this trick works perfectly for my goals, and I'm planning to continue doing the same in the future. My new canvases will arrive this Tuesday, and today is Friday, so 3 days left. I'm super excited. It's going to be one of those canvases is going to be the biggest canvases I worked with since, wow, actually, I think about 3 years ago, I worked on bigger paintings when I had my art studio. And but then I worked on 2 meters and stuff. But now I can only allow myself to work on the biggest one will be 130 on 170 centimeters. 1 centimeters, almost 2 meters, but not quite, because it's not possible to. It doesn't matter. So I'm very excited. And going to continue doing the same thing, of tricking people with beautiful package, with beautiful site, with beautiful image, and then later telling them the true meaning, showing them this true meaning. So kinda, I want to make an unsettling aftertaste after my art. So this second step might take the most time from you, but I think it's the essential one. And the good thing about it, it requires no physical activity. You can just lay down and think, or sit down and think, or swim and think, just anything at all. Okay, now don't do swimming and thinking. Be careful with that. Be careful while swimming. But please don't use first ideas that come into your mind, because if they were so fast to came, it means that you already saw them somewhere. So your mind subconsciously chooses that is an easy pass and just giving them back to you. And I bet you want to make a unique art, right? So please, few first ideas, à la poubelle. Step 3, not so many steps left, so stay with me. We're getting closer to an end. Start sketching something around it, around those ideas you get, around those images you have in your head. Not quite exactly them already, and actually don't concentrate too much on that idea you have in your head, because realistically you'll never do something that is one-to-one similar to what you had in your head. As sooner you accept it, the better. Trust me, you don't have to eat yourself for not doing it perfectly like you had in your mind, and no one except you saw what you had in your mind. So don't compare yourself to this image that doesn't exist and will never exist. Instead, use this picture in your head only as the inspiration source, but accept that your finished work will differ, and probably differ drastically. But that's a great thing, because when we're imagining things in our head, we cannot count the resistance of a material. And the resistance of material, it's one of the most enchanting things, in my opinion. I dislike digital art exactly because the resistance of material in it, it's almost zero. It completely obeys you, it gives you no feedback, and I want to use materials that will put its soul as well into the finishing piece. Sketch some details you think would fit the main lore of the painting. Choose few main colors, and now think about materials you'd like to use. Think about what texture the materials will bring to your art. Step 4. almost the last one. Accept that you won't use 50% of what you just did, what you just thought about, what you sketched. That is okay, because when we are preparing ourselves, we have this wide range of things we want to do, wide range of things we have the possibility to choose from, and there is no stopping for us. It's part of dreaming. We have everything in front of us. We can choose whatever we want, but with every step forward, you are narrowing this range. You understand that some things not possible to do, or some things better to do other ways, and you're narrowing this part, and in the end you'll use only a small percentage of what you thought about in the beginning, and accept it as soon as possible. And even though you're not going to use it, there were necessary parts, necessary steps, and only grass at them you can do what you're doing now. So don't think they were futile. They were not. Start painting, and I'm saying painting because that's what I do mainly. So that's easier for me to explain on exactly example of painting, but obviously it works for all kind of art. Start painting and try to let go of control. Trust your hand, trust your canvas, trust the materials you choose. Any sort of art is collaboration with the materials itself. And the resistance of material, as I told previous, is the best part in it. Personally, when I work, I can change directions many times when it comes to canvas. I can overlap different ideas, different paintings on top of each other, because painting takes such a long period of time for me that I'm as a person change multiple times during that time, and my mind changes quickly. So I'm always trying to capture that exact moment, the very soul of me, the very second of me existing. Also, if you have a fear of blank page, a fear of white canvas, my biggest advice is to try to get it as quickly as possible. Try to get it dirty. Just few drops of paint, and it will be already much easier for you to continue creating, because you will not see it as perfectly white. You won't be afraid to spoil it because you already did it. These few drops, and you'll set yourself free from that. A few drops of paint, and you already will start feeling at ease with working on it. I actually made a video exact few months ago exactly for people with such fears. You can check this out. And step 5, the last one, pray to God. Pray to God. I don't know in what religion you have. Pray to universe that you're going to finish someday. Let's hope for the best. Thank you for being here with me today. Mwah. See you soon. Yes, see you soon.